Hey everyone. Well, it's a cool, somewhat rainy day in Florida today, and it's a good time to take on a project. So let's see what we're going to work on today. This is a Porter Cable 146B. Now, I know the 146 came out in the 1950s. This doesn't look much newer than that. So I'm going to guess it's 50 years old or so. And what we've got right off the bat, there are several cuts in this cable. One right there that's all the way through, and some others that I noticed. There's another one. Doesn't appear to be all the way through, but certainly I don't want to test it that way, especially given the age of it. It has a Craftsman blade on it, and this is a 6.5 inch blade, I think. Yeah, 6.5 inch. And this blade looks newer, like a lot newer. This looks like modern Craftsman from at least the last 10 to 20 years. Probably the last 10 years. And so I don't think this thing has been sitting unused for a very long time. Obviously, this isn't the original cable. Interestingly enough, somebody broke off the grounding pin, or did that ever have one? So it's been rewired before, so I'm assuming it's going to be pretty easy to take it apart, and we're going to do what we usually do. We're going to rewire it, we're going to re-grease it, and then we're going to polish it up and hopefully get it to look as close to new as we can get and make it a really nice usable tool for someone again. So let's get busy. All right, the first thing I want to do is take that blade off, because it's sharp and it's rusty, and I don't want to take a chance that I forget it's there and I get cut. At about a 9/16. Nope, 5/8. All right, let me get a piece of wood. I don't think this has a catch. It doesn't. So I'm going to remove the blade. So I'm going to slide this back, put the blade on the wood, push down a little bit. And hopefully this will come out. Doesn't seem to want to. Seems like we're possibly turning the whole motor. Interesting. All right, that bolt is frozen in there. So it's going to be a little bit of a challenge. Interesting. It just turns right on top. Is the motor? I think the motor must be turning with it. Let's look at the back. While we do that, can maybe show you. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, the motor's turning. Okay. All right, so for now the blade will stay on. I need to do that. I need to get this off to grease it, so I'm gonna have to find a way to lock the motor up. Maybe an impact driver will just pop it. Let me try that. I'll be right back. It's funny, I did not expect our first challenge of the day to be just getting the blade off. Let's try it with an impact driver. Perfect. Right tool for the job, I guess. Slide this back, get the blade out. Screw there. screw there. Should be a third somewhere. That might be the third right there. Yeah. All right, good. Let's open the handle up. See what we can do about the wiring. Switch feels good. I hadn't really tested that. So I think we're just gonna have to replace the cord. Let me get my parts bin. My magnetic parts bin. Don't want to lose any of these screws. Quite interesting. We got two different types of screws holding this thing on. All right. This wiring is good. It's old, but it's good. Interesting. A little bit different. So the wiring's coming right from the cord right into the switch. You can see it right there. The switch is really only held on, I think, by this one screw, and then just the metal. So should be easy. I'm just gonna get this strain relief off here, and then should be pretty easy to rewire this. It's a shame. This is like a really heavy-duty cord, but it's seen better days. So to remove the strain relief, hopefully you can see what I'm doing. We're just compressing this. When you do that, it's supposed to come out. Certainly sort of coming out, but not entirely. Almost. Okay, we're off. So open it up. Yeah, chewed into and cut off some of that insulation. All right, let's go to the switch. Your hot wire is on top. That should mean the switch comes out. All right, this is going to be easy. All right, I would have put a terminal ring there for the ground. They did not. Then again, they also broke the grounding pin off of the cord, so they probably did not have much concern for grounding this thing, which is unfortunate. Let's take cords out. Get this cord out of the way. We're going to use this cord. Okay, let's look at how much we need. We got to go 2 there, but we don't want to go too far, So I'm gonna guess right about here. And we're gonna, again, not apply a lot of pressure. We're just gonna go around it until we see that we've cut in through the outer insulation. Almost. I think we're through. Well, we're through most of it. A couple pieces holding on. Got it. Okay. All right. Let's see how we fared on our guess here. Green isn't the worry. Okay, I'm going to shorten the black and white up just a little bit. All right, now they just had these wrapped around here and screwed on, but I think we can actually put some terminal rings on here, which is probably a better idea. There does seem to be room, I think. Well, we'll give it a shot. I'm gonna take the gloves off here. So this is a red. Red is the one on the end. We want to make sure we always use the right crimp. Red, red. Okay. All right, I'm leaving it a little bit loose because I want to kind of position everything. So same here. I'm going to bend it in. I'm going to bend it in. Take the screw out. Let's put this screw in. And to make sure we tighten it in the right spot, we'll put this screw in as a guide. So. We're good. Looks like it. Nothing in the way here. The long screw goes there. Yeah, I should polish the tips. I'm going to polish these with a wire brush real quick. So, the reason why I'm running them through the wire brush is there's a before and after, if you can see that. I don't know if it's in focus, but this kind of saves me time when I go to polish the aluminum. I don't have to worry about screws. tightening them yet, just putting them in place. Once I get all three, I'll snug them down and then tighten them. All right, in theory, we're fully wired. Let's put the strain relief back on. So what I am going to do, I'm going to use the tie wrap trick. I'm going to put a tie wrap on, and that will stop the cord from being pulled out. Okay. Put that off. Now, if I'm lucky, I have enough room in there for the strain relief to go back on. And we're good to go. Now the cable can't come out. You know what? We can actually test this thing now. I don't have a blade on it, but we can fire it up and see if the switch works. I'm confident in this one that it's going to work fine. Make sure you can see what I'm doing. All right, so just in case, we've got our off switch on that. I'll put my insulated gloves on. Click the switch on first. We should be live. And make sure nothing's in the way. Yep, we're good. It runs, it's got a lot of power. It's a small saw, but it's got a lot of power. All right, let's go and see what we can do about greasing this thing. So I saw some screws in here. There's one there, and I think one there. I think. Yep. Now I'm hoping that that's all it will take to get this off. I'm not sure. Never worked on one of these. But if so, it'll be pretty easy to grease it. Comes out of there. Does this move now? It moves. But I don't think it moves enough to get to that bottom screw. All right, let's take the base plate off. Okay, I have a problem here. We got a stuck screw. Yep. And this screw is already stripped. Well, there's always obstacles here. Let's see what we can do. Wow. does not want to come out. See if we can put some penetrating oil on it. Fortunately, we can kind of get in from both ends. I don't think that getting in from this side is going to make much of a difference. Curious what this is. Is this a grease port? Oh, look at that. Is that grease? That's grease. Yep. Okay, so there is a way to put new grease in it through this. If I cannot get this screw out, and I can't clean the old grease out, at least I can put new grease in. But I'd really rather get this screw out. Alright, well, it happens. So I cannot get this screw out. It's stripped, and I'm gonna have to probably drill it out. It's odd, it shouldn't be stuck at all, really. There's not really anything holding it in, but I guess 50 years of corrosion will do that. This has not been aimed the best at all, has it? Alright, I'll be back. Alright, I'm gonna do a quick recap here, just in case the video runs really long. I'll show you where we are at on this. So I've got, I want to take this out so I can get in there, clean out all the old grease. I've discovered that there is actually a grease port here to add new grease if I can't get this off. To get this off, I've got 3 of the screws out, but there's one hiding behind this. This is being blocked by this. I've got 3 of these screws out, but 1 is stripped. So I am right now about to try to pull that, use a thread, well, I guess you would call it a, what do they call these things? A speed out, to try to get this thing out. Well, we got it, I think, but it ended up breaking in here, so we're gonna have to drill that out completely. There's always these little problems happen. Okay. Here's where we're at. I have got most of this out. It keeps coming out in little shreds. I didn't catch the whole process I've been working on because the camera kept dying, and I think it was just out of disk space. But I'm going to continue because, as you can see, even though I'm that deep in, it's still there. So I've still got to work on it, but I won't bore you with the whole process. I'll be back. Starting to get frustrating here. I cannot seem to bust through this thing. Okay, we're through, finally. Good luck on how I'm gonna get that thing back together. But all right. Let's hope I'm done with these speed outs for now. Put these guys away. All right. Now, this has to come out. And there's that screw. Okay, that's all 4 screws, right? Let me get this out of the way. Does not want to come. Oh, there it goes. Woo! Finally. All right. Was it worth it? Well, I think so. That grease in there is chunky. All right. Let's dig that out and get new grease. All right. First off, let's put some gloves on. Let's dig this stuff out. There's actually very little grease in here, so it's good to get the dried grease out. I suppose I should give you a close-up of what we're doing here. So you can see the grease is pretty old. So I'm just taking out, some of it actually looks burned. There's like, see, you can see there's black. But I'm just scraping it out. Okay, I'm gonna put the phone back because doing that with one hand is really tricky. Okay. My grease gun is empty and I haven't reloaded it, so I'm just gonna actually dig new grease right out of the tube. I'll load the gun later. more than enough grease. I expect it to actually shoot out the ends when I put this thing back together. Kind of like that. It's easier than the grease gun. Okay. Bearing feels good. Gears feel good. There's nothing chipped on that. It all feels like it moves pretty easily. There's a little dirt on there. Let me grab a paper towel and wipe that off. Don't want any dirt in there. Yeah, see, we got a little bit of grease poking out. That's okay, because I did put a lot in there, and that's fine. Again, I'm not tightening these until I get all in. Not bad, that's about it. All right. We got a bearing back here that should be oiled. I'm not sure how to do this exactly, but let's take this cover off first and look at it. Good opportunity to inspect some of the wiring, which looks good. Okay, we can get right in there to oil that. Okay, before before we oil this though, I'm gonna clean some of this out with this dry lube, which is basically, it's a motor lubrication. Once that dries, I'll oil this, and then we'll put the cover back on, and we're good to go. Okay, sufficiently dry in there. So how we're going to oil this is I'm just going to put oil in here with it upside down. So let me grab the camera, and I will show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to just get the oil in here. And let it go in. I'm going to turn the motor a little bit. Put a little bit more in. Tricky doing this while holding the camera. You'd think I could see it, but it's funny, I just can't do it that way. Okay, I'll totally turn it flat. I'm turning the motor, letting the oil get inside it. Alright, let's put that cover back on. Let me wire brush these. All right. Now, this thing is dirty, very dirty, like crazy dirty. Let's take this guy off. This piece here should be repainted. Before I repaint it, I'm going to wire brush this rust off of it. Okay, we're clean. I'm going to go prime and paint this thing. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm going to clean this thing out, and to do that I'm going to use electronic cleaner, and I'm just going to use it to kind of take all the sawdust, debris and all that out. I guess we'll just do it over there. did not get in there. Nothing left in that can. All right. We're getting ready to polish this thing. Okay, so what I'm going to do to clean this bottom plate first, I'm going to use WD-40. I need to get a new can here. This one's almost empty. And steel wool. And always wear gloves when using steel wool. Thing all dirty because this board is dirty. Really need to be working on a towel or something. Let me wipe this thing down. Okay. All right, for the saw itself, we'll be doing the same thing. Avoiding, of course, that badge. You don't want to get anything on that badge. Not much I'm going to be able to do about this. The finish is actually gone. May have sat in water or something for an extended period of time, I don't know. The inside, I'm mostly cleaning it just to get the old debris that's really stuck. It's gonna get, you know, dusty and dirty again as soon as this thing gets used. So there's only so careful I need to be on that. But I do want it to be clean and as nice as I can get it without going crazy here. Okay. All right, let's do this bottom part here, and then we'll compare it to the top, just with WD-40. So that back is WD-40 in spite of the heavy corrosion, but that's WD-40 in about 5 minutes, and that's none. So you can see this really helps. It'll make polishing it a lot easier. This steel wool's kind of had it. I don't think you need to see the whole thing, but I'm going to continue polishing, and I'll be back. All right, I'm going to use chemical guys on the handle. We're going to see which one does a better job. Stuff is always hard to get out of the bottle. Wipe it down. Okay, so I think the Chemical Guys is better. I think it's so much better that I'm now going to do this with it. So yeah, the Chemical Guys, much better than that. It's heavier paste. All right, let's do this front. I think I'm gonna drop the Scotch-Brite with the Chemical Guys, and I'm just gonna use the paste. Reminder, don't polish these painted ID tags. Make sure you polish around them. If you polish on them, you will absolutely take that paint right off. As with all this stuff, it's how far do you want to take it? This thing's gonna go back to work. So how much do you want to polish it? Because it does take a long time. You want to bring this thing to a mirror finish. I'm not gonna say it'll never happen. I am gonna say you may not live to see it. No, but I am gonna say it's gonna take you most of the day. All right, you don't need to see all of this. I'm going to continue polishing for another 20 minutes or so, and I'll be back. All right, we're polished. I'm going to put it back together. I've even cleaned up the knobs a little bit. Okay, let's see. Okay. That's for now. I wonder if I have a blade. A 6.5. I think I may have bought a 6.5, anticipating doing this. So we'll see. We've got a plate here that gave us so much trouble. Only 2 of these screws are actually good. Is that the one that's stripped? That's the one that's stripped, so I gotta find a different screw for that and re-thread it. I gotta take this screw and I gotta see if I can find it. All right, we're back. My battery died. We've got this piece painted, ready to go. This is polished up, cleaned up, ready for the blade. I am going to repaint in here, and to do that I need to get all the polish, oil, or anything else in there out. So I am going to wipe it down with acetone, and I am going to wipe it down a lot, because I have gotten several times I have done these and got bit because I didn't get all of them, the polish or oil out. I definitely don't want that to be the case. Okay, let's mask this thing off. Alright, I don't need this glove anymore, I just needed that for the acetone, so I'm going to use my world famous Microsoft Office book of masking paper. Not exactly ideal painting weather. It is pouring out and it is cold. All right, this will be the last step today, because I want the paint to dry overnight at the very least. I may be crazy for painting in this weather, because it's pretty bad. It's pouring out and it's getting cold for Florida. What is it? It is 58 degrees now. All right, so I'm using Rust-Oleum High Performance Red. I've had good luck with it. This is what I used when I did the Milwaukee. Looks good. Looks like I did not miss a whole bunch of oil. Now, as a note, I'm not using primer, and the reason why I'm not using primer is because I'm going to be going over this with steel wool. I actually don't want a coat of primer underneath. It'll just mean more work, because I'm going to take all of the paint off the word Porter Cable when I do this. So what you have to do this right is you've got to get a lot of coats on this. And you know, I just realized I should have taped up underneath those two holes, and I did not. So I'm gonna have a little bit of cleanup to do back there, but since it doesn't appear that I have any oil on there, I'll give you an ultra close-up. It looks like we're good. I'm going to let it sit for a couple minutes and then put one last coat on. Oh, and incidentally, I forgot to get this because the camera died. Never underestimate the power of an old jar of screws. I've said this before. I have had this for a while, and this is all screws from who knows how long. This was a collection I got, I believe, at an estate sale, and I think is it in a pickle jar or something? Looks like it, maybe. Not sure. But so I was able to actually find, I had to find flatheads, but I was able to find replacement screws for the one that was stripped and the one that was drilled out. So pretty good. All right. That looks very good. I'm gonna hit it just a little bit more. Trying to hit it from all angles. And I do need a heavy coat because I'm gonna be dragging steel wool over that. That should do it. I think I'm ready to kind of clean up and put everything away now. I can't tell because there's not enough light out here. My guess is we're good. But I will, for safety's sake, once I put everything away, I'll hit it with one last coat. All right, getting ready to button things up for the night. I took the paper off. I'm just putting these pieces back so I don't lose them. Paint obviously is still very wet. I'm going to bring this indoors, which is why I'm putting all these parts back on it. Okay. So all we've got left for tomorrow is we'll take the paint off of the letters and we'll hopefully have a blade and put it on. It really is too bad the finish is gone from that. But what are you gonna do? All right, finally calling it a night. It is 58 degrees and raining, and it's getting dark out, considering really it's almost 90 minutes till sunset on a normal day. It's quite dark out, quite gloomy, but we got a lot done today. I'm glad I was out here for a few hours. Time well spent, I think. So I will see you tomorrow and we'll wrap this thing up. Take care. All right. The next day. It is actually raining even worse today, and even colder. It is quite cold today. Only about 52, which, you know, for Florida is cold. So we're gonna finish this thing off. Got a couple of steps left. I'm gonna clean the letters off, and also clean around this outer edge. There's a little bit of overspray on that. So let's do the outer edge first. We're just gonna ball up some steel wool. Shouldn't be too difficult to do it. Got it all except for that edge right there. Does not want to let go. All right, so we're just gonna take care of the letters now. So I'm folding this tape over because I don't want the tape, the glue on the tape, to stick to the paint, because this paint is only a day old and it's been damp out. Okay. So if you've seen my other videos, you'll know what this process is, but essentially I'm going to take our steel wool and make a ball, and without adding much pressure at all, we're just going to drag it across this. So very lightly. And over time, meaning over the next 10 minutes or so, it'll actually take the paint off of the letters while leaving the red paint around it. If you put much pressure, it'll actually scrape up the paint below the letters, and we don't want that. We just want it to ride right on top of the letters. So you can see, I'll give you a close-up in about a minute or so, and you can see the metal is starting to come through on those letters. So we're getting there. It takes about 10 minutes of this for the whole process. I'm gonna roll the steel wool over a little bit. Okay, really we got the whole thing except the P, so I'm gonna actually manually tap on the P. Do a little bit of individual attention to that one. That looks good, huh? Okay. Now, I think I do have, this blade isn't in bad shape, but it's pretty worn out on the finish, and I want to make this thing look good. So I think I have a 6.5 blade that I bought at the flea market for when I do this. So let me go look for that, and I'll be right back. All right, I do have a brand new Diablo 6.5 inch blade. Man, it is pouring out there. To tighten it, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to push it down on the wood. There we have it. Our 1960s maybe Quarter cable, model 146B. All cleaned up, ready to go back to work. All right, well, it was a rainy project, but we got it done. It looks great, it works great. You know what, you want to see it demonstrated? I bet you do. Let's give it a shot. All right, I already made a couple test cuts with it. All right, that's it. This was a good project. I brought a 1960s, I guess, quarter cable, 6.5 inch or 7 inch saw back to life, and it's ready to go. It's all greased up, it's rewired, new power cord. So please like and subscribe if you like this sort of content. I've always got more coming. And hey, if you want to take on something like this, as I always say, you want to rebuild one of these old tools, you can get these things real cheap, $5-10. Pretty easy to find them. And all they need is a little bit of your time. So don't be intimidated. You can do it. Just go out, get busy. Take care.